So we're gonna do the question 5, unzip and apply. We're implementing unzip. Oh, unzip, which takes in a list of tuples, zipped list. You can see that here. We have tuple 1, 2, 3, and an integer group index, and retrieves the unzipped list with the given group index. That is, we want to perform the inverse of the built-in zip function. So looking at the doc test, sorry, um, we can see that we create the zip list out of these two lists where the zeroth index values get paired, the first index and the second index. And then we unzip it, retrieving um, the zeroth element of each tuple. And so hence we get 1, 2, 3 back because they pair off in the order that they were zipped in. So the items from list 0 go in the zeroth value of each tuple, and items from list 1 go in the first value of each tuple. So looking at our return statement, we're filling in the blanks. We are returning a list, we're doing a list comprehension. We have 4 tuple index in some thing that we're going to be iterating through. And each iteration, we're indexing into zipped list. And because we're indexing, we know that this is going to be some index value here, and then some index value here to get our final value. So looking at what we return, we want to get these 1, 2, 3. So how would we just get that ignoring the format? Well, we could get those values by going into our zipped list and then doing 0, 0 to get that 1, right? Because this is zeroth tuple, zeroth value. And then to get the 2, we could do zipped list 0, oh, I'm so sorry, 1, 0, right? Because this is the first index within our larger list, and then the zeroth index within the tuple. For 3, it's similar, zipped list index 2 within the list, zeroth index within the tuple. So we can kind of see the format build itself here. The 0 stays constant, right? Because we want the zeroth element, and that is our group index. Our index value here, we can see it iterates by 1 each time, right? And this is the tuple that we're going to be indexing into. So we can kind of see that form in the tuple index, right? Um, so there's how we get each value. So then how do we get each tuple index? Well, we're just iterating through the possible indices of the zipped list. So how we can get that um, is just by going through the range length zipped list here. And then let me just clean this up a little bit so you can see the final answer. But here we have it, right? Because this is going to give us the length of the zipped list. So for our example, this is going to be 3, and then range 3 will give us 0, 1, 2, which is the possible indices. Okay, moving on to part B, we have assume that you have a correct implementation of unzip. So if you didn't quite get this part, that's okay. You can still get all the points for B. Now implement the unzip and apply function, which takes in a list of tuples, zipped list, and a function func, and returns a list result which applies the function to each unzipped list. And then each item of result is the result of applying function to the corresponding unzipped list. So here we have our zipped list, and then we unzip it as we explained how you did that here with index 0. You get this list as a result, and then you sum it 1 plus 3 plus 5 equals 9. So looking at our skeleton code, we have our result list. As we can see that we want each item of result. So we know that result is going to be a list. And then num groups. And then for group index and range num groups. And then we can go through the for loop after this. So as we can see here, we know that num groups is going to be a number. And range will give us kind of so these values, right? Range 3, 0, 1, 2. So group index, these are going to be indices, right? And it is going to be functionally the number of groups in our zipped list. So in zips, this this list has three tuples, each with two values. So we can kind of see here that there's two original lists that got zipped together. This is list one, right? Because we can see like our unzipped function, it gives us the first original list. And then this is list two with 2, 4, 6. So the number of groups in zips is of um the number of numbers in each tuple. So for here that's 2, but the way that we can generalize that is just by doing um the length, the length of zips 0. Oh, sorry, not zips, zipped list. Because that, because this will give us, if we use our zips example, this will give us 1, 2, and then the length of that is 2, and we have two groups in our zips example, right, that make up that zipped list. You could do a different index, but every list will have a 0th index. So I recommend just using 0 for that. Okay, moving on into the for loop, we have group values. So that is going to be the values in each group. So here we have group 0 has values 1, 3, 5. So the way we get those values is we can just run unzip, right? We just wrote this function. Unzip, zipped, list, group, index. Because we want to do um, each possible group in our zips. In our zip list, we want to go through each possible group, so we can just iterate through each possible group index and unzip our zipped list at each group index, if that makes sense. Okay, and then looking at this next line, we are adding our result to our result list. So our result is the applying function to the corresponding unzipped list. So here we have our group values. This is our unzipped list. And then we want to append applying the function to that list. So that's just func group values. And then at the end, we return our result, which is a list of all of those result values.